Okay, so get this. Have you ever cracked open a Budweiser and, wondered about the can itself?
About how they managed to keep the designs fresh and the production lines humming?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do they do it, right? We're going to dive deep into this article today, and it's all about a challenge they're facing at their Oklahoma City plant.
The one that makes the metal lids for the cans.
Yeah.
Okay.
God, the place has been cranking out lids since '86, and, they've got some seriously skilled workers there. But there's a bit of a problem on the horizon.
A wave of retirements coming up.
Bingo! They've had a crazy low turnover rate, less than 1% until 2017.
So, yeah, a ton of experience about to walk out the door. That's a tough spot for any company.
Think about it, though. Low turnover, it means things have been running smoothly, right? But when everyone retires around the same time, well, that's a whole lot of knowledge disappearing.
It's like a knowledge gap, a brain drain. Kind of scary if you think about it.
Right.
Lots of industries are dealing with this, not just Anheuser-Busch.
Okay, so put yourself in Derek Shore's shoes for a sec. He's the business process manager at the plant. Now, imagine you see these new hires, all tech savvy, right? Turning to YouTube to learn stuff. What would you do?
Well, I guess you'd have to adapt, right? Meet them where they are.
Exactly. That's what Shores did. He had this aha moment. Instead of throwing those thick manuals at him, he decided to speak their language. Video.
Ah, so they created some kind of in-house training program, like their own little YouTube channel for the plant.
You got it. They brought in this platform called DeepHow, and it's designed to capture all that expert knowledge, make it into videos.
So, like, the veteran employees could show exactly how to do those really specific tasks, right?
Absolutely. No more misinterpretations or lost details. And get this. Remember how it used to take, 18 months to train someone on a critical skill?
Oh, wow, that's a long time.
With these DeepHow videos, they cut that down to 4 months.
Seriously. That's what, like an 80% reduction?
You do the math. It's crazy efficient. New employees up to speed faster. The experienced folks can focus on the trickier stuff. Everyone wins.
It's like a domino effect, right?
Good.
Benefits all over the place.
Totally. And it wasn't just about speed, though. These videos, they led to better safety awareness among the new employees, too, which is super important in a factory environment.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Actually seeing something done right
Yeah.
instead of just reading about it, it can make all the difference, especially when it comes to safety, right?
No doubt about it. And guess what? Production went up by 2.5%.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Teams were working more efficiently, more independently, too, because they had the training right there at their fingertips whenever they needed it.
It's all about accessibility, right?
And hold on, there's this one specific task, changing a cylinder on one of their machines. It used to take more than 3 hours.
3 hours? Oh, man, that's a long time.
With the DeepHow training, they got it down to 45 minutes.
No way. That's incredible. Think of all the time and frustration they saved.
It's a perfect example of how this approach actually works, makes a real difference in the day-to-day.
Yeah, it's not just some fancy theory.
And here's the coolest part. This whole thing created this culture of continuous improvement.
The continuous improvement. What do you mean?
Well, the new employees, now that they had all this knowledge at their fingertips, they started spotting ways to do things even better.
Cool, like, hey, we could tweak this, or why don't we try that?
Yeah. Fresh eyes, new perspectives, and they actually help reduce waste in the process.
It's awesome. Sometimes the best ideas come from the people who are new to the whole thing.
Totally agree. So Anheuser-Busch, they saw the results at the Oklahoma City plant, and they were like, this is amazing.
They must have decided to expand it, right?
Expand. They went all out. They rolled out DeepHow globally. Now they have over 10,800 videos. Get this, 170,000 views and 3,500 hours of content.
Wow, talk about going big.
But that's not all. They didn't just implement it. They actually won awards for it, too.
Awards, really? Like, for being awesome at knowledge sharing.
Pretty much. It shows that investing in your employees, making sure that knowledge is shared, it pays off big time.
And it all started with noticing those new hires watching YouTube.
Exactly. Sometimes you just got to pay attention to how things are changing, right? Meet people where they are and use technology to make learning better.
It's like a whole new approach to training and development.
So what about you? What kind of valuable knowledge is at risk of being lost in your field?
That's a good question. I mean, makes you think, doesn't it?
We're going to explore that very question after the break, so stick around. We'll be right back.
It really makes you think, Anheuser-Busch, they could have just let all that experience walk out the door, but they turned it into something, Well, something better.
It's kind of like they flipped the script, right? Instead of a crisis, they found an opportunity.
Exactly. And this whole thing, it's not just about manufacturing either. Think about healthcare, for example.
Oh, yeah, experienced doctors and nurses retiring, that's a huge deal.
Right. Or teachers, they spend their whole careers building up this incredible knowledge base, and then poof, it's gone.
And don't forget about the trades like plumbers, electricians.
Oh, yeah. So much expertise, literally walking out the door.
It's a trend, really. We're talking about recognizing that experience, knowledge, it's like gold, you
Right.
know? It's an asset.
Like the most valuable asset a company has.
And just like any asset, you got to manage it, protect it.
Make sure it's being used effectively.
Think about the implications, too. If you can capture that wisdom, prevent those rookie mistakes, it saves time and money, right?
Not to mention, it could boost efficiency, even spark some new ideas when everyone has access to that knowledge.
It's a total game changer.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the bottom line either.
Right. There's more to it than that.
It's about empowering those new employees, creating a culture where learning never stops. It's about making sure all that hardened experience lives on.
Have you ever had a mentor, someone who really showed you the ropes, taught you those little tricks that make all the difference?
Oh, for sure. Everyone needs a good mentor.
I bet a lot of our listeners can relate to that. That's what's so cool about this story, you know? It's about recognizing the value of those mentors, those experts.
The ones who've been there, done that, learned things you just can't find in a book.
And it's inspiring, isn't it? Anheuser-Busch saw this problem and they were like, we can solve this.
And not just survive. They actually saw a chance to improve, to get even better.
Talk about adapting, especially with how the workforce is changing, you know, different generations coming in. They took a potential crisis and turned it into a win for everybody.
Totally.
It makes you wonder if there are other ways to, I don't know, bottle that expertise.
Yeah, video is definitely a powerful tool, but are there other ways, other innovative approaches?
What if you could combine video with even AI?
Oh, wow. Imagine that, being able to interact with a virtual expert, ask questions, get feedback in real time.
Mind-blowing, right? Sounds like science fiction.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe that's the future of learning. But speaking of the future, what about the challenges, the potential downsides of these knowledge capture programs?
Well, one challenge could be getting those veteran employees on board.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, think about it. Some of them might be a little hesitant,
Hesitant to share all that hard-won knowledge?
Exactly. They might worry that if everyone knows their secrets, they won't be needed anymore.
It's like asking a world-famous chef to share all their recipes.
Right. So trust is key here. Companies need to make it clear this isn't about replacing anyone. It's about valuing their expertise.
Making sure that knowledge benefits everyone.
Exactly.
What about the technology itself, though? Setting up a platform like DeepHow, I mean, that can't be cheap, right?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely some upfront costs involved, and you need to train people on how to use it.
And there's always the risk of getting carried away with the tech,
Yeah, you don't want to end up with a fancy system that nobody uses.
Right, like a library full of videos that just sit there gathering dust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just about capturing the knowledge. It's got to be engaging, easy to access.
Maybe even think about different formats, Not everyone learns the same way.
Right. Some people might prefer simulations, hands-on stuff.
Or even old school mentoring, Working side by side with an expert.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's the whole thing about keeping that knowledge base up to date.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial. Processes change, technology changes. You got to stay current.
So you're saying someone needs to be in charge of that?
Well, it helps to have a dedicated team or, at least one person whose job it is to manage all that knowledge,
Yeah.
make sure it's accurate.
A knowledge manager, like a librarian for the company's expertise.
Yes, something like that.
It sounds like capturing and sharing knowledge is a never-ending process.
It really is. It's about building a culture of continuous learning,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody needs to be on board.
From the top down, everyone needs to buy in. So, to wrap things up, we've seen how Anheuser-Busch took a potential disaster, the loss of all that expertise, and they turned it into something amazing.
They found a way to not just survive, but actually thrive, and they created a model for other companies to follow.
Whether you're in manufacturing, the lesson is clear. Knowledge is precious. Don't let it slip away. Find ways to capture it, share it, and use it to empower your people and drive your success. And that's it for this deep dive, folks. We'd love to hear your thoughts, though. Head over to our social media and tell us about a time you learned something valuable from someone with experience.